Greetings, members of the tribunal. The matter of security for cost is important, given that it's a reason for the postponed arbitration between Nightingale Limited of Georgetown in Guyana, hereinafter Nightingale, versus Massive Results Limited of Glasgow in Scotland, hereinafter Massive. My name is Job Minyenya, and I am the counsel representing the claimant, Nightingale. Members of the tribunal, I propose to first address the 5 points lodged by Massive in view of the associated response by my client, Nightingale. Thereafter, I would raise other related pertinent points in support of Nightingale. Members of the tribunal, the first point raised by Massive is indeed the reason why we are having this sitting. It is security for cost. In response, Nightingale has cited the arbitral rules that govern this sitting. In particular, the arbitral rules in reference here are Arbitral Arbitral Rules Articles 26 and Section 2, which refers to interim measures in respect of assets. Essentially, this article gives the tribunal the powers to institute interim measures in respect of assets and not costs. Members of the tribunal, I would like to emphasize that this is one major departure from the arbitral rules in place. And I submit to the tribunal that the tribunal does not have jurisdiction in respect of security for cost by virtue of this article. The next thing that has been raised by Massive is a citation of an ongoing cause involving Nightingale. Members of the tribunal, it's our opinion that this matter is sub judice, and it's not fair to comment on a case that is ongoing. In fact, this goes against the doctrine of precedent. Until the matter is settled, we cannot, in fairness, comment on it. However, in character with Nightingale, in showing good faith, he has given the reason why they went to court, and that was simply to set off a debt that was owed in that particular circumstances. Moving on to the third point raised by Massive, comes from the media reports. Members of the tribunal, we realize that that hearsay is admissible in arbitration, and this is because of the relaxed rules on admissibility of evidence, and we have no problem with this. The only thing we would comment on this is, and we would implore the tribunal to look at the credibility of the sources of the media reports and weigh in with other factors that are touching on this case. The fourth point raised by Massive is the financial records of Nightingale, and indeed it's a fair point, and there is concern, and we understand that concern. And in fairness, reading into further facts from the financial records, it demonstrates that the assets currently held by Nightingale exceed the debts owed by $5 million. Yet the exposure before this tribunal is merely not even 10%, shall I say, of the value of the assets. Outside the case of ASPA versus BAG, wherein security of cost was denied, even though the company in question had gone into liquidation at the time of arbitration. Shall I put it to you that Nightingale is not under liquidation, and it's just suffering the rigors of commercial elements of business, And as a matter of fact, the reason why we're having this arbitration contributes to the stress, financial stress that Nightingale is experiencing at the moment. The fifth element raised by Massive is remoteness. And there's concern that this cost, if they get their award, will not be recovered. I submit to the tribunal that Guyana is a contracting state of the New York Convention of 1958, and Article 5, Section 2B allows recovery of costs. And the element of remorselessness is really far-fetched. And further to this point, being that we are the seat of arbitration itself is the place which is England, and we are subject to the Arbitration Act of England of 1996, which prohibits nationality as a basis for ordering security of cost, as per Clause 38, Section 3 of the BSM Act. I'll also cite another case, ICC case number 10,032, where in this case it was required to show the factual change from the time of contract in order to be able to order the security of cost. It is indeed a matter of fact that nothing has changed between these parties in respect of their domicile offices. Nightingale is still based in Georgetown in Guyana, and Massive Resorts is still based in Glasgow in Scotland. So I see no need to bring this matter here, as nothing has changed from the original contract. Members of the tribunal, having gone through the 5 main points raised by Massive, I kindly request you to consider 3 other points. Number 1 is that Massive is actually the main cause of the financial stress being experienced by Nightingale. It is a fact, and the facts do show that this project was difficult, acknowledged by both parties. But the facts do speak for themselves as well, that Nightingale completed the project on time and at no extra costs. And these matters we will delve further during the course of the arbitration. But we raise it here because it affects the very nature of security for cost in this particular hearing. The second point is, by instituting the security for cost, there's a potential that this claim might be dismissed and due process may not be followed, and perhaps some quarters may see this as a prejudgment of Nightingale, and this may not be in line with justice. The third point I want to raise is really about the conduct of the parties. The facts do show that there has been good faith on the part of Nightingale, right from the contract, executing a contract that is difficult, completing it on time, under budget, no extra cost, and even from the responses within the submission to Massive's requests, there have been pure demonstration of good faith. On the other hand, I put it to the tribunal that I sense mischief in the timing of this issue of security for cost, coming 1 month way after the initial notification of arbitration. Is it perhaps an attempt by Massive to stifle a genuine claim? I'll leave it to the tribunal to answer this question. In conclusion, members of the tribunal, I look at it from the 3 angles, triangle if you like, in this tribunal, in this process. Tribunal comes first and foremost, and the question is, do you as the tribunal in this arbitration have jurisdiction? The answer is no. The express terms of the contract are clear. They only give you jurisdiction for interim measures in respect of assets and not costs. The second point is on Nightingale. Nightingale has demonstrated good faith right from the very beginning of the contract, and it's an essence of the contract that they have signed between themselves and Massive. And the third point is Massive. Massive is commercially stronger of the two parties, and could it be a possibility that they are using their might to stifle a genuine claim? Members of the tribunal, finally, I would say the intention of the parties to the contract should be followed. Arbitration rules and good faith of Nightingale really follows the dictum of the contract. And with this, I come to the end of my oral submission. Thank you.